All right, everyone, welcome back to Ori and the Blind Forest, our all skills, no out of bounds, no teleport anywhere tournament. My name is Grimelios, and I'm joined on commentary this evening by Kyrafil. Kyrafil, how are you doing?
I'm great. Hi, Graham. I'm really looking forward to this match between oshiimine and ThisIsNotSully.
I am also excited for it. We'll kind of get going here right off the bat. I'm going to start off by talking about Oshi. This is our Moon Grotto group, by the way, our first match out of that group. Oshi is someone who's been with Ori for about a year now, a little bit less than that. He sort of joined roughly around the time of our last All Skills tournament at the beginning of 2017 and heading into the GDQ Hotfix match. Now he's very well ingrained in the community, has been helping out a lot, especially on the sort of truck side in this tournament here. Kyrfa, what can you tell us about our other competitor here? ThisIsNotSully.
Well, Sully just started picking up this game after AGDQ because, just like the game, I suppose. And interesting to note, he also runs Ocarina of Time 100%, so not new to speedrunning, just has been running Ori for only about a month or so.
God, Ocarina of Time 100% sounds like a beast of a run. You can see the stats on the screen now. We'll quickly jump into their PBs as well. You can see that Oshi in that left column there has a PB of 33.16. That puts him at 25th on the leaderboards compared to 39.31 from Sully. So Oshi, in terms of PB, does have the advantage here. What else can you tell us about our two runners, their input methods, and sort of other miscellaneous information?
Well, both of them are using keyboard and mouse, which means there'll be no differences in their control schemes, like with a controller or anything. Now, this Sully is not going through the grotto cycle, while Oshi is, and that's pretty reasonable. It's a very difficult trick, and it doesn't really save that much time.
Oh, totally. Also very interesting to note that Oshi is not using his scroll wheel for double bashing, so we'll see how that affects his routing as we go throughout this whole thing. We could continue talking about the runners. We could continue talking about the tournament all day long, but I think we'll all agree that it'd be much more exciting for us to get into the actual match itself. So I think we'll be getting us kicked off pretty shortly here. Kyrafel, I'll let you talk for a moment as we get things kicked off.
Okay. Well, as we are beginning, we'll have the runners just both head on to sign the first skill of the game, and it starts off reasonably slowly until we get to wall jump really. Mm-hmm. Then we'll start to see things change up a bit.
Well, here we go with that lovely Kura transition. We're going to be getting this race started, our first out of the Moon Grotto group. We see them both hovering on normal, ready to start the game. And we are off. So I guess you already hinted at this, Kyrafel. I think I sort of threw you in a little bit there. What can we expect out of the early game here?
A lot of jumping. Jumping is very, very slightly faster than running, so you'll see them doing that all the time. Also, color codes, very important.
Very, very important. To clarify these color codes, like if you look on the right side, you see Sully's Ori is pink. The color code changes nothing whatsoever about your speed, so it doesn't, functionally affect the speed run. It's just sort of a fun way to vary things up. It's a built-in code. We're going to be seeing both Oshi and Sully get our first energy cell of the run and make a save before facing this Rhino. And then we're going to be continuing off to the left, approaching our first little companion character of the game, known as Sign.
Sign will let us attack, in addition to telling us where to go and what to do, but we will be ignoring everything he has to say. And that is because we've got the UI off.
Yeah, definitely. Very good to point out. There's so many little pieces of tech here in the early game to talk about. Speaking of tech, we're coming into our first taste of combat in Ori. You're going to see these guys taking out these 3 Frankies. Very nice draw from both of them. Looks like, I don't know, Oshi has like a quarter-second lead or something. Really nothing to speak of. As we've mentioned in multiple matches now, our runners will be intentionally avoiding experience drops from that initial Frankie fight because our experience route is important. So not only for the early game, but really throughout the run. Why is that experience route important, Kyre?
Well, first of all, when we level up, we'll damage everything around us, and we'll use that to destroy a bunch of plants that get in our way later. But fairly more importantly is that it refills our energy and health. And we'll be using that for a significantly more important sequence break just a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. Right here, we see both the runners coming up on a small glitch known as Ghost Ore. We see Ochi pull it off without a hitch, Sully right on Ochi's heels. It's a little trick to get through that door's opening animation a little bit more quickly. Do you want to also talk a little bit about health in this run?
Okay. You see both of their runners getting the first health sub that they'll pick up, so now they have 4 health. In the past, we used to, sometimes people would skip that, but now, since we're going to be skipping cleaning the water from the Jinso tree, we actually need to get more health to survive the water in the final escape. Also, it just provides more safety, and it only takes 8 seconds out of the way to go get that.
What's 8 seconds anyway, right?
Yeah.
So we see both our runners coming into a level up spot. This early experience route is important for a timed level up to take out a bunch of brambles. We see Ochi slightly in the lead. This level up can happen on the way down, as you see from Ochi, or it can... Oh no!
Ooh. So they're getting hit by that slime.
So what happened there? Good job by Oshi to get through. He'll be approaching wall jump, our first skill. Another quick death from Sully. Thankfully, that second one didn't cost him too much time. That death, any death before wall jump really can be pretty costly, and it's going to be bad news for Sully, good news for Oshi. I want to emphasize, it's not like Sully's out of the race or anything. Ori is a very fickle video game, and there's a whole bunch of run left. We've only hit 1 skill out of, we have, I think, 9 more to go or something. So there's a lot of race left, but not the start that I think Sully was looking for.
Yeah, really, this could get tied back up at any point.
Yeah, so where's Oshi's next objective now? We've reached wall jump, which we didn't explicitly explain, but it's sort of, a pretty common skill in these sorts of games. So what's Oshi going to be heading towards next?
Oshi is heading for dash next. Very fast, but it does require us to go through Blackroot burrows, which is very slow. It's almost an auto-scroller. With floating platforms and cycles that Oshi will need to make. Dropping any of those is about 8-second loss.
Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Let's hope. Sully, meanwhile, successful on his second attempt, is going to make it to wall jump as well. Meanwhile, on the left side, we see Oshi approaching Blackroot burrows, which Kyrafil just mentioned. On the entrance to Blackroot burrows, there's an unskippable cutscene, and this is a speedrun, and cutscenes are slow. So rather than watch the cutscene, Ochi's going to do a cool trick known as Save Anywhere. You sort of see him walking around behind his ability menu. And by unlocking an ability at the correct time to save the game after the cutscene has started, Ochi's able to skip it and walk right on through. So that brings us right here into BRB. Kyrafil, you've already talked about Blackroot burrows. Are you personally as afraid of Blackroot burrows as I am?
Yes. Blackroot burrows is terrifying for many reasons. Dark, everything will kill you very quickly, and it's very, very easy to lose a lot of time here.
Yeah.
Nice jumps that Oshi has to make right now.
Mm-hmm. Oshi making it look pretty easy, sort of making it look like a bunch of mundane, everyday sorts of jumps, which they are if you do them right. Oshi with a nice safety save there. Another tricky thing about Blackroot burrows that we like to talk about is that the whole area, quick death by Oshi, that's okay, that's not going to cost him much time. Blackroot burrows is very cycle-based, and those cycles start the moment that you enter. So not only does Oshi have to, play carefully in order to go fast and not die in order to do well and win this race, but he also has to try to go as quickly as possible in order to catch cycles and not lose additional time later on. Oshi does have a nice lead right now due to that early mistake by Sully, but as I mentioned, Oshi's not out of the woods yet. What's Sully up to, meanwhile, on the other screen?
Sully is just entering Blackroot burrows now, got his cutscene skip, and is heading towards the orb he's going to carry all the way over to the statue. to collect dash.
Dash being a very cool definitive edition exclusive skill that we'll be getting to pretty shortly here. Oshi has to watch a little mini few second cutscene here before heading into the next room. Sully is well on his way through Black Rope Rows as well. So far, no major mistakes that I've seen. There's sort of a tricky jump to get up here. Having a little bit of trouble with it, not too costly though. Meanwhile, Oshi is going to drop this orb that we've been carrying. He's going to use the orb to, well, after pulling this lever, use the orb to trigger a cutscene, which is going to unlock dash. So I guess the next obvious question that I'll throw to you, Kyrafel, we've already discussed this in multiple of our tournament matches here, but do you want to tell us a little bit about why dash is so cool?
Well, there are very many tricks that you can perform using dash. For example, dash gliding, where they can just go faster through the air than you normally are able to. And, you know, if you just keep pressing the dash button, you go very, very fast. And that's always something we like to do.
Going fast is very useful in a speedrun.
It's a skill, so we have to get it. But even with the time it takes to get it, it
right.
ends up being a lot faster.
Right, agreed. So again, I'll kind of direct your attention over to the left screen again. Sully on the right is heading into the same area that Oshi just got out of, and hopefully won't have too many issues. Oshi, meanwhile, on the left, being in the lead, is going to be the first to get to our Frankie Walk trick, which we always like to talk about. It's a very cool trick, which is also rather difficult. Do you want to tell us a bit about that as well?
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned this a little earlier. We will be leveling up off the Frankie, and that will restore our energy, allowing us to open a door with 4 energy and with only 2 energy cells. And this skips a huge amount of, you know, going through Spirit Caverns and Hollow Grove and various other areas. You know, just open the door and go straight through. It's followed by the Death Gauntlet, as it's known, which is also a pretty scary place. But it does lead us quite quickly through to the next skill.
Right, it absolutely does. Speaking of skills, looks like Oshi is making it through his Death Gauntlet. Just one more little obstacle, and he's through. We'll see if he drops a safety save, and he does. Good job by Oshi. Sully, meanwhile, has overcome his initial challenges and has made it to dash. So Sully's going to be heading towards his Frankie Walk. To quickly direct our attention left, Oshi's going to go for a quick, precise jump. Got it! Nice. What is that jump that Oshi just made?
That is the early Grotto Crusher cycle, and it's difficult. It requires you to dash and jump out of a very specific location at a very specific time, and it skips waiting for the first cycle of the Crushers, and that saves 8 seconds.
Yeah,
this is the one that Sully has said he will not be doing, but we'll see if he goes for it anyway.
As far as tricks in Ori go, I mean, saving 8 seconds is nice, but as with many speed games, you'll save a lot more time with just clean play and not taking unintended deaths. And actually, that Grotto cycle does have a very small chance to kill you if you are particularly unlucky, so a perfectly legitimate decision to go ahead and skip that. Oshi, meanwhile, has picked up double jump, which is exactly what it sounds like, gives you twice the jumps. And Sully, I would recommend watching your right screen right now. Sully's going to be getting his attempt at, first of all, opening this door. That's tick box number 1. Next up has to make it through the Death Gauntlet. And we'll see how he does.
Oshi is also going for the Grotto skip. Wall jump and a, you know, hard to see wall. That's second try, third try. We'll see how long it takes to get.
Grotto skip is a trick that looks very, very easy when you get it right off the bat. It really is quite a bit more precise than it looks, so a little bit of trouble, but that's okay. Oshi's still with a nice lead, and we do know, by the way, that Oshi is watching Sully, so Oshi knows that he's in the lead as well. I can't imagine that it would too heavily affect his play. You know, if you're doing a race like this, you sort of just have to sit down and play your own game as well as you can, but it's got to be a bit of a relief.
So Sully actually just attempted the Grotto's Crusher cycle, but unfortunately didn't quite make it in time.
That's okay. He also didn't die, so did not save the 8 seconds, but also, you know, didn't really lose anything. Right. So we've sort of been giving race updates as we go, but to make it a little bit more explicit, Oshi on the left is in the lead. by, I don't know exactly, certainly a minute or two at this point, so a sizable lead for Oshi. Meanwhile, Sully on the right is approaching his double jump tree as well. Seems like Sully's play has been relatively clean so far, despite that early death, especially given how new Sully is. He's only been at this game for maybe about a month tops. It's very, very impressive to see this kind of play.
It is blind movement out of double jump very well. So skipping the skill tree cutscene does force the camera to stay on the skill tree for a short time. But, Sully handled that very well.
Mm-hmm. We're going to be seeing on the right side of the screen again, Sully come up on his attempt at Grotto Skip, which is just a little jump that skips roughly half of the Moon Grotto, this area that we're in right now. And you sort of have to do a jump off this little spot on the wall. Having a little bit of trouble similar to Oshi. Got it third try, so nice job by Sully. And then on the left, we see Oshi taking a quick pit stop, a little detour to one of these fast travel locations. Do you want to tell us a little bit, Kyrafel, about those Spirit Wells before we approach our next location?
Sure. We'll be teleporting to Spirit Wells a few times because it's this one here. We'll be using that right at the very end of the game on the way to Mount Horo. And there is one that you might have noticed Oshi picked up just a little bit earlier, and we'll be using that to escape the Jinso tree early, so we don't have to finish it.
Yeah, that's something that's sort of fun about this route, and I'm sure many of our viewers are familiar with Ori, but many are probably not. And one thing that's sort of a fun trivia point about this, as we see Oshi start to progress through the first few rooms of the Ginso tree, or Jinso tree, I think the jury's out on how it's meant to be pronounced. It's right up there with the GIF debate. One of the cool things about dungeons in this game is that for this particular category, we will be skipping one of them entirely, and we won't even be finishing the other two. So it's you play a lot of this game, but you also skip quite a lot of it, which I think is pretty fun.
Yeah, it sure is. That's not to say that what we do in the Ginso tree is, this is easily the most out of any dungeon you see. And it's certainly not easy, as you can see, just taking a death on the spike there.
Mm-hmm. Still, a valuable safety save. It's always interesting to me to see where various runners decide to take safety saves. That death by Oshi certainly is costly. I'll estimate that it costs him about 20 seconds or so. But with that safety save, it cost him quite a bit less. He was able to mitigate the damage a little bit. I mean, Oshi is an experienced enough runner that I would be surprised if that would seriously set him back, especially since he does know that he has that comfortable lead. So we still see Oshi. He's going to take a little bit of a breather in this puzzle room. You have to wait for this little shooter plant to shoot twice in order to break open that barricade, and then a second one right after it. We also see Oshi pulling out a blue color code just for funsies. So Oshi's going to be progressing then into the next mini boss, Kyrafel.
Yep, this mini boss is, well, to say it's a pain is putting it lightly. We have to plink it to death slowly with the weakest ability we have because we didn't pick up Charge Flame due to the Funky Walk sequence break. And it's RNG where it appears, but for one frame you can see as Oshi just dashed over to the right because he knew it was about to appear there due to that one frame tell. And he gets it very quickly. And nice job.
Yeah, very, very good awareness. That one frame tell, it is truly one frame, and it is not easy to see. You have 5 different locations. So good job by him. Oshi also taking a bit of intentional damage because he's going to be setting up another ghost door glitch, if you remember from earlier in the run, and we've actually seen it twice now. The ghost door glitch allows you to skip the door opening animation. So Oshi on the left is going to be picking up that 4th keystone, making a save after putting keystones in the door. That death was intentional because it saves him just maybe 2 or 3 seconds getting through the door, and that's going to bring him right up to dash. Meanwhile, Sully on the right has also entered this first dungeon and is making his way through nicely as well. Sully, again, with some nice clean play since the early mistake.
Yep, they're actually not very far apart at this point. Sully is only the mini-boss room and then another couple of rooms behind at this point.
Oh, definitely. So, we've talked about Bash 100 times, but what the heck, we can talk about it another 100 times. What's Bash?
It is one of the most interesting skills in this game. It allows you to redirect projectiles and enemies and sort of just fling yourself off of them in whatever direction you like. And we use that, we exploit that. It's very fun.
It is certainly very fun. It's also very, very useful for a variety of reasons. On the left from Oshi, you're going to see another intentional death just here. Nicely done. That trick is known as key duplication, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It duplicates keystones. And it's more precise than it looks as well. You have to die close enough to the door that you can put keystones into it while in that death area. So good job by Oshi. Nicely done. Sully, meanwhile, has made it past his mini-boss and is approaching everybody's favorite skill, Bash, as well. You're going to see a lot of these little intentional deaths. We will point out when deaths are unintentional, I guess. Otherwise, you can pretty safely assume that many deaths are intentional.
Oshi has killed his second mini-boss in the Jinso tree and will now just be leaving it because we don't want to restore that water. It's faster not to.
It's kind of too bad. The music is so good in the escape.
Yeah.
But speed comes first. This was a relatively recent development in Ori's roughly 3-year history. Discovered about 4 months ago, you're going to see Oshi taking an alternate path into the swamp. Ordinarily, when you finish the Ginso escape, it drops you down into swamp with clean water. But now we're going to be going to swamp without restoring clean water. So just another tidbit of information to keep in mind is that the water in this game is going to remain poisoned for the rest of the run. You're going to see Oshi do a quick cutscene skip using Rekindle on that save point, and then he's going to be approaching another cool trick. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
All right. The new entry to the swamp, as I was just talking about, it requires us to bash this frog up and then use it to destroy 2 barriers that we normally are not supposed to destroy. So this frog projectile actually can't go up any higher than its...
Oh no!
It also sometimes just goes through the barrier without destroying it.
Oh man, Ori is a wonderful game, home to many magical creatures and even more magical hit detection sometimes. That's something that can unfortunately happen. Looks like Oshi got it the second time. Not only can the projectile go through the barricades, sometimes the entire frog can go through the barricades. Oshi... So good job by Oshi to make it through. He is opting to not make a save. Well, now he has a safety save. A moment ago, he didn't make a safety save, thankfully having no issue with the Rhino. And that's going to quickly bring Oshi up to his next skill. Meanwhile, we see Sully did make it through his key duplication, and he'll be approaching his second of 2 mini-bosses in the Ginso tree as well. But so to redirect attention again, do you want to tell us a little bit about our next skill that we're picking up?
Stomp allows us to, well, go down quite quickly. And we use that mainly, to go down fast. And it also allows us to destroy a few barriers that you're supposed to destroy with Charge Flame or some other skill, but for whatever reason, Stomp will destroy them. So we'll be using that a fair bit.
It's sort of convenient that many of these skills can be used in multiple different ways. Oshi's still with a sizable lead. I don't know the exact time, but a nice sizable lead. Oshi opting to not make a safety save. He has to use this frog a second time to get to another ability cell, opting for a bit of safety and bashing the frog up. Nicely done by him. And then we're going to quickly see Oshi approaching another trick, which is known as the Kuro cutscene skip. We sort of have 2 things. You have Kuro cutscene skip on the left, and then we have Sully taking his attempt at swamp entry on the right. We have exciting things happening on both screens. I'm not sure where to look. Oh man, nice job by Oshi getting through. What is that Oshi just did? Because to an untrained eye, it looked like Oshi just bashed nothing.
Okay, there's a cutscene trigger there, but we used bash to just go right to the other side of it and completely skip the cutscene. It's the only time we'll skip a cutscene in this manner, and that's why it looks so strange.
Agreed. And as we look at our instant replay, sorry to interrupt you. As you look at our instant replay on the right, we see that Sully did make it through his swamp entry. That trick is one of the more difficult in the run, so nice relief to see him get through, and a first try as well. Very nice to see from him. Meanwhile, Oshi successfully got his 5th energy. That's all the energy we're going to get in the whole run. Kyrefel talked about health early on in this game, how we're going to be getting, it's required to get 5, many runners will get 6. But we'll also be getting 5 energy, which Oshi now has, and we'll see Sully picking up in a little bit here. But Oshi is going to be approaching another cutscene soon that we're going to be skipping, and then we'll sort of continue on towards the rest of the game. Meanwhile, Sully has picked up Stomp and is working his way out as well. Kyra, I guess I'll just ask a general question. How are you feeling about this race? Do you see anything that's particularly surprised you so far, or anything you might expect as we continue on?
Well, I think both of the runners are doing very well at this point. So Sully having picked up Stomp now and moving on, and Oshi on his way to Feather is well,
it's nice to see.
Yeah,
it's very nice to see.
Neither of them are messing anything up too badly.
On the right side, Sully. Okay, the frog is still alive. Sully has to use this frog. Does it have enough health to survive? It just barely does. One more attempt. Let's go, Sully. Yes!
Ooh, nice. Yeah, there is
tricky.
a small amount of space you can wall jump off there. Oh, she's stopping
ability still. Oh, go
destroy.
ahead.
Yeah.
So she's moving right along.
Fast Stompless now. Why don't you tell us a bit about that?
Absolutely. Fast Stompless is a way to, it's sort of a shortcut to our next skill. The next skill is called Crow's Feather, and you're supposed to get there by stomping on top of rocks, but it turns out those same rocks can be broken by precisely firing off a spider projectile, and Oshi just got it successfully, so very nicely done by him, and it results in this sort of weird, it almost looks like a bug, because it is sort of a glitch. You end up picking up the cell, and then the camera just instantaneously flies way off to the left, because breaking those rocks triggers the cutscene that's going to give us Feather. So with that, while we see Sully on the right side just continuing along, getting his 5th energy cell, what can we expect out of our next few tricks out of Oshi on the left?
Oshi will first be doing a rocket jump off this frog, which is just using charge dash in a specific way to make us go really, really high for the cost of only 1 energy. And then he's about to do Sorrow Bash. And Sorrow Bash is manipulating these birds using bashes. A double bash attempt from Oshi here.
Now, this double bash attempt, I'm sorry to interrupt, I want to say is noteworthy because if you remember from our stats right at the beginning, Oshi does not use scroll wheel for double bashing. Scroll wheel, for anyone uninitiated, is a way that many keyboard mouse runners can use to make double bashes easier. And Oshi does not use them, so every single double bash you're seeing is sort of manual by him, which makes it, well, more impressive because it's more difficult. But Oshi is successfully through, and he's going to be approaching our next skill of the game as he makes it through all these spikes. And I'll ask you another bit of trivia, Kyrafel. How much damage do these spikes do?
4 damage here, and since Oshi just took a hit on the spikes in Sorrow Bash, he's only at 1 health. So the charge jump will refill his health here, but there are some spikes which will do 5 damage, which are just to the right here. So if he hits them, he's dead instantly. If he hits any of the others, he's got one hit that he can survive. And Sully is doing the same, so he also has 5 health.
Bit of a relief to be able to survive some of those spike hits. Meanwhile, on the left, Oshi moving around in the background. That's another one of those saving or glitches that we've seen before, but this time we're going to be using it to perform a very cool trick known as a Terra Break. Nicely done. It may be a little bit difficult to see in the background, but Oshi was able to artificially create a save in a place you ordinarily wouldn't be able to, which is mid-air just below one of the breakable platforms, and then buffer up a charge jump death. And if that was sort of confusing, it's a relatively recently discovered trick. It's just sort of another clever way to progress up through Sorrow Pass more quickly than you're supposed to be able to.
Sully going for Fast Stompless right now on the right. Let's see if he can get it. The shot looked good.
Let's go. Yes!
Nice, first try.
That's very nice to see.
Yep, both runners got their Fast Stompless.
Definitely. That bash angle that you need in order to pull off a successful Fast Stompless it's pretty precise. So nice to see 2 successes. Sully's going to be picking up Feather, and then he gets to go through the whole gauntlet of rocket jumping and Sorrow Bash. Sorrow Bash, by the way, generally considered to be the hardest trick for new runners to learn. So we'll see how he does with it. Meanwhile, Oshi, as these runners sort of high-five, is coming out of Sorrow Pass, the area that Sully is about to enter, and Oshi's entering into Misty Woods. So do you want to tell us a little bit about Misty Woods while Sully goes through some of his attempts on the right side?
Right. Misty Woods is for some people, their favorite part of the run, because you have pretty much every skill you're going to have for the rest of the game, well, at least all of the important ones, and we use that to charge dash and bash and storm cancel and do all sorts of really fast movement. And the goal is to go around and pick up a whole bunch of keystones, and then the layout changes and you can go charge dash your way through some more.
It's certainly a fun time. I want to interject a little bit and say that Sully was able to pull off a first try Sorrow Bash. Again, the hardest trick in this speedrun, and he got it first try after only a month of practicing and learning this run. Good on him. Sully then gets to navigate this maze of super spooky spikes while Ochi's picking up Climb.
Sully did make a safety save here, so if he hits those spikes, it's not too much time lost. When he nearly did, but he made it, so...
Yeah. I think that's a very valuable safety save. It's one I see pretty frequently, and for a very good reason. It's very easy to die on the spikes.
Doesn't really cost anything to make it either.
Agreed. How do you feel personally about Misty Woods? You mentioned it's sort of a cool area given the number of skills. Ochi with a quick death. That's not going to set him back too far, thankfully, especially with the lead he has over Sully, but I'm sure something that Ochi won't be too pleased about, but that's okay. Gets his second attempt. Really just means that we get to see more of the cool Misty Woods movement, I think.
Yep. Sully doing his Tower Break on the right.
I also want to point out that we're getting word from our truck, our guys helping us on stats in the background, that Ochi did just gold his climb split. So having some very, very clean play despite a few of these deaths. Still, overall, a very, very good run by Ochi. Also, Ochi did accidentally touch some spikes. So right now, Ochi is down to only 2 health, and all of the spikes in Misty Woods deal 3. So I would not be surprised to see another safety save soon. Not right there, though, apparently. Ochi just really going for it. Taking some pretty risky strats. There's the safety save, which I think is a pretty smart one. What's coming up next here in Misty Woods?
A mini boss, which we have some very fast ways to kill this mini boss. So if Ochi pulls it off, then we probably won't even see it. So let's see. Makes a safety save just in case, and nice. There are multiple ways to take out those double mini bosses pretty quickly, and Ochi did a fine job with it. To give a bit of a race update while Ochi is exiting Misty Woods, we sort of have almost a bit of a high five scenario. Sully was entering Sorrow Pass as Ochi was exiting. Now Sully is entering Misty Woods as Ochi is exiting. So Ochi on the left still with a pretty sizable lead. I don't have the exact time in front of me, but I would estimate on the order of a few minutes of lead right now. Keep in mind that Ochi does have a 6-minute faster PB, so this lead is not necessarily unexpected, although Ochi's still not out of the woods. We have quite a bit of run to go. Where's Ochi off to now, Kyrefeld? Now is off back to Blackroot Burrows, but he's going to go even further down now to pick up the final skill, Light Burst. To be honest, what Light Burst can do for us and all of its useful applications.
Boy, I would love to. To be honest, I forget that it's called Light Burst. I think that is the technical name for it. We always just call it Light Grenade because that's effectively what the skill is. It lets you throw a little ball of light, almost like a little mini sign. Quick death from Ochi. That's okay. He has to save up top. Light Burst is a skill that, like I said, at the cost of energy, allows you to throw a little energy ball. And for a long time, we thought the skill was very useless. All of that changed during our last All Skills Tournament at the beginning of 2017, when we learned about a cool trick known as a grenade jump, which we'll talk about in a little bit more detail shortly. Ochi doing a quick cutscene skip on the left, and Sully, meanwhile, has made it to climb. Yeah. So Ochi about to get to that next skill tree. Do you think, Kyra, that we will see grenade jumps from Ochi early on, or just sort of more traditional play up until the end?
Well, Sully took a bit of a quick death in Misty Woods. I think that... Okay, well, that answers that. I was going to say, Ochi knows how far ahead he is because he's watching Sully's stream. So, he probably thinks that he has the time. He's not on
Oh my
PvP
god!
basis.
I'm sorry to
Oh.
interrupt. Unfortunate that Oshi ended up taking that quick death, because for a moment he was able to save himself by sort of dashing above the insta-kill laser. That was a pretty ballsy move. I like it. I like it. Unfortunately, so with the death, but that's okay. He'll be able to get back here pretty quickly. Oshi's going to be continuing off to the right, and I would expect to see him take this health cell as well. We'll see in a moment whether he does. Oh no, that boulder's right on his tail. And he does take the health cell. Do you want to sort of reiterate for everyone, Kyrafel, especially viewers who may be less familiar with Ori, why health is so important apart from just, general safety?
Because in the final escape, we will need almost all of that health. Well, actually, depending on how much Oshi takes. No, he's got 6, so he has 1 hit of safety. But the water in the final escape is poisonous, so we do need that health to survive swimming through it, which is required.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we'll get to see Oshi's attempts at that before too long. Meanwhile, Sully on the right has made it through the mini boss as well. God, that Misty mini boss takes so much abuse. We just spend like half of our time trying to find faster and faster ways to take him out.
Sully's Misty, especially in the second half, was very clean as well.
Yeah, impressive. Very nice performance overall by him. Despite being behind Oshi, keep in mind that Sully's PP is 6 minutes behind Oshi. So still a totally good performance over there by Sully. Having a bit of trouble getting across, that's fine. On the left, though, we should mention Door Warp, which I'll throw to you again, Kyrafel.
Right, door, a 1-frame trick upon reloading the game. If you can go through that door, then it just teleports you to the bottom of Mount Horror. It's mystical. Who knows why it works, but it does, so we'll use it.
Nobody knows. That was nicely done, though.
It is 1 frame, so 1/60th of a second. Getting it first try is nothing. It's not easy.
So we're going to look over on the left now as we direct our attention to Oshi, culminating all of his skills in the final escape. As mentioned by Kyre, the water is poison, and it requires 5 health to get through the poison water and stay alive. Oshi does have 6, which means he has a very small amount of room for error, although ideally Oshi's going to make it through this entire escape without taking any damage. I like that decision there to just wait a moment in order to make it through that insta-kill lava spire without taking a death. Moving on, he's going to bash off some spikes, glide around a little bit before stomping into the water, which is poison, and has to get through it as quickly as he can, bashing off of these 2 fish, and then that's going to bring us up to the final trick, which I will let you explain.
Alright, the grenade jump, as mentioned a little earlier, allows us to use the grenade to just go very fast, and we use that to skip the first half of the final cutscene, which you see Oshi attempting here. And there we have it.
That's it.
Made it through.
A 3rd try by Oshi. That trick is important. I mean, you can use it to go fast in a bunch of places, but Light Grenade in that particular spot is very useful because it skips a large chunk of the final ending sequence and saves you quite a bit of time. So even though Oshi got a 3rd try, that still definitely saved him time over the traditional approach of just exiting. Oshi's time is not going to end just yet, but it will end automatically very shortly here as he just kind of waddles to the right with Naru a little bit. So Oshi just about done and will be taking the victory in this first match out of the Moon Grotto group.
Sully making his approach to Mount Horu now.
Nicely done by Oshi. Taking a first place there.
Sully has a good chance of PBing right now as well. His PB is about 4 minutes ahead of where he is right now.
So this is exciting. Oshi, by the way, with the final time of 35:08, which will give him the victory in this match. But Sully is still in there. As you mentioned, he still has a chance at PB, so we have more excitement on the right side. We're going to get to see Sully's attempts at Door Warp very shortly. Remember, that trick is frame perfect, and this game runs at 60 frames per second, which means that Sully is going to have all of 0.016 seconds. That's a death. That death is one of the more costly ones. It's going to send him back to his spirit well from earlier. That's okay. He's going to take some extra energy, moving off to the left again. getting around all of these enemies, getting around the green exploding guys that we call banelings, getting around the sentinel turrets that shoot lasers, and the other sentinel turrets that shoot projectiles. Turns out the path to Horu is not exactly a friendly place for Ori. But that's going to bring us to Sully's Dwarf attempt shortly, and going for a grenade jump. I like that.
Didn't make it, so just opting to go forth.
Do you have any door predictions for Sully?
Yeah, he'll get a first try.
Oh, definitely. I agree. There's no question about it. By the way, I just want to point out, Sully is taking his attempts at door warp. Oshi on the left is actually doing the Ginso escape, just as sort of a showcase for viewers, but keep your attention on the right. Keep your attention on the right. Okay, didn't get it first try. That's okay. Can you get a second try? Yes, he did.
Second try, yeah.
Cool.
So
One frame trick, easy.
In the first few tries is always a good number.
Right. So Sully, as we mentioned with Oshi, has to make it through this final escape, taking virtually no damage at all in order to have enough health to survive the poison water, the water that on Oshi's screen he is going through and cleaning. Sort of a fun little touch by Oshi. Remember that this escape sequence that you see Oshi doing is the one that we skipped. But I would encourage you, fun as it is to watch Oshi's escape, but I would encourage you to pay attention to the right as Sully finishes out. Still does have a chance at a personal best here if he can pull out this escape cleanly. Making it around to the poison water. Floating down, has to bash off of these two fishes. There's a first. There's the second one. Making it out alive. Good job. He's going to do a precise charge jump to despawn Kuro, and then we're coming up to that same grenade jump trick. Again, let's see how many attempts it takes. Yes! Yes!
And
that's amazing!
Try grenade jump. Yeah.
And I was about to say, that's actually perfect because we just got an update from Sigma that Sully did need to get that grenade jump in order to PB, and he nailed it first try. That's not only a frame perfect trick, it's the hard kind of frame perfect trick. Pressing two buttons on the same frame is hard, but it's not that hard. Pressing two buttons one frame after the other is much more difficult in my opinion. And Sully just nailed that. Very nicely done.
Yep. So it looks like he's going to get a PB of maybe around 30 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember that from the start stats screen. I wouldn't expect anyone to remember. I have it written down. I'm a cheater like that. Sully's PB prior to just now was 39:31. So absolutely a PB for him at 39:02. That is a 29-second PB. And to pull it out in a race like this, I mean, you can't ask for a much better PB than that.
You sure can't. With all the race nerves and everything, getting a PB is always impressive.
Absolutely agreed. Not only did we get to see the PB, we got to see the fun little Ginso escape showcase, and now showing off some of the character models. And it looks like with that race out of the way, remember that was our first match out of the Moon Grotto group. So if we sort of take a look at our group standings again, we're going to see Oshi with his victory over Sully, which is going to put him currently at first place in the group, although, again, there's only been one match. We'll have more matches for you coming throughout the week. And with that, we'll be moving to that stats screen shortly, by the way, so you can sort of visually see what it is that I'm talking about. We're also going to be getting an interview with Oshi shortly, and I'll be verifying whether we're also going to get an interview with Sully, but we're definitely going to be interviewing Oshi in just a moment here. Kyrfel, I guess, do you have any just closing thoughts about that race while we just take a moment to pull in our interviewees?
No, I don't really think there's too much to say. Of course, getting a PV, always a great thing to see. Oshi with the win. And yeah, so we'll have to see Terra and Vanguard playing a little later. See how this Moon Grotto group turns out. It'll
be an exciting one, that's for sure. And it looks like we are actually going to be interviewing both of our runners, both Oshi and Sully, just as soon as we pull them in here. Looks like Sully's here with us, and we'll be getting Oshi in just a moment as well. All right, and Oshi's here too. Welcome, you guys. Congratulations on finishing it out.
Yo, GG Sully.
And congratulations on your victory. Oshi, I'll ask you the first question. I could ask you the generic, how did you feel about it? But I guess as that race was progressing, we were getting continual updates that you were golding splits. For example, you golded the climb split. So I guess I will ask you the generic. How did you feel about that going through? Were there any areas that you were particularly happy with or particularly looking to improve?
I honestly didn't feel like the climb was that good, but the double jump split, I felt like I got the quick kill with the ghost door right before double jump from the spider shot, and I also got the grotto cycle, which I was getting like 20% in practice, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, your practicing paid off with the victory. Sully, something I want to ask you in this match. First of all, congratulations on your PB. That's just fantastic. And second, I want to ask, despite the PB, you did have that early death, but you were still able to pull it out. I was sort of curious how you were feeling after that death, and if you sort of, I don't know, had any thoughts going through your head or any sort of strategies you used to continue playing at the level that you did. We may have some technical issues on our interview side. We will figure this out.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was convincing myself before the run that the nerves weren't going to get to me, and as soon as it started, my heart was, I could literally hear my heart beating through my headphones. So I think it was good. Taking that early death kind of relaxed me, because I was like, well, there it goes, no big deal now. I think I composed myself pretty well going into Fast Stompless, and I played pretty well through Sorrow, so I felt good about it mostly. Obviously, there's improvements to be made, but that was a lot of fun.
That's great. I think that's what you want out of these matches, and I mean, you got a PB out of it, which is
thanks.
Which is pretty great. Yeah. Kyrfel, I'll close this out in a minute, but do you have any questions that you'd like to ask our wonderful racers?
No, I think you've pretty much covered it all.
Sounds good. I'll ask another easy one then. I've mentioned several times that you PB'd. Getting word from our helpers that you actually did get a 37 today, Sully.
Yeah, that's okay. I wasn't going to correct you.
Okay, so you know what? We can still count it as a PB. Everybody can still be excited, and then it turns out you just also have an even better PB. So that's fine.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, yeah. Congratulations to both of you. Oshi, how are you feeling about your upcoming matches with this first win?
Yo, I think Terra, he's going down.
Oh man, I'm just looking over at chat now. I'm fully on board because Terra abuses me, and so I want to see you beat him. I mean, I'm impartial. I'm an impartial commentator.
I mean, Terra's too busy working on the production to actually practice anyways, so it should be easy.
I like it. Are there any particular areas you think you want to practice? Any areas you weren't happy with this run, or just sort of more general practice? I'll direct that question to either of you.
Glades.
Fair.
For me, I think that the Ginso was pretty bad. Could be better.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I'll certainly be looking forward to. I'll be looking forward to the rest of your matches. Congratulations on getting one out of the way. Sully, congrats on your totally a real PB.
Thanks again. I appreciate it, guys.
And Oshi, congratulations on your victory. We'll be closing out here shortly. We do have one more Ori match for you tonight, but it's not right away. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern time, so we have roughly an hour break in between our matches here. That next match is going to be between Agandrakir, otherwise known as Richard, and Millsmess. We'll say more about those runners in an hour, but I guess you don't have to stick around on Speed Gaming. We actually don't have anything on Speed Gaming just between our two races here, but do make sure to come back in roughly an hour for that next race. Otherwise, oh, and actually, to clarify, the next race is on Speed Gaming 2. Twitch.tv/SpeedGaming2, not Speed Gaming 1. Thank you for the correction. Otherwise, Kyrafel, it was a pleasure commentating with you, dude.
Likewise, Graham.
Yep,
Congratulations. On the races.
Yeah, congratulations to you guys. Thanks, as always, to our behind-the-scenes guys. And that will about do it for us. Stay tuned for more Ori action on Speed Gaming 2 in about an hour.
So they're getting hit by that slime.
It's Frankie Walk. To quickly direct our attention left, Oji's going to go for a quick, precise jump. Got it! Nice. What is that jump that Oshi just made?
That most out of any dungeon you see. And it's certainly not easy, as you can see. Just taking a death on the spike there.
Mm-hmm. Still a valuable hit detection sometimes. That's something that can unfortunately happen. Looks like Oshi got it the second time. Not only can the projectile go through the barricade, sometimes the entire frog can go through the eye. It looked like Oshi just bashed nothing.
Okay, there's a cutscene trigger there, but we used bash to just go right to the other side of it and completely skip the cutscene. It's the only time we'll skip a cutscene in this manner, and that's why it's
Sully has to use this frog. Does it have enough health to survive? It just barely does. One more attempt. Let's go, Sully. Yes!
Ooh, nice. Yeah, there is this
crow's feather, and you're supposed to get there by stomping on top of rocks, but it turns out those same rocks can be broken by precisely firing off a spider projectile, and Oshi just got it successfully, so very nicely done by him, and it results in this sort of weird...
Going for fast stompless right now on the right. Let's see if he can get it. The shot looked good.
Let's go. Yes!
Nice, first try.
That's very nice to see.
Yep, both runners got their anything to make it either.
Agreed. How do you feel personally about Misty Woods? You mentioned it's sort of a cool area given the number of skills. Ochi with a quick death. That's not going to set...
If Ochi pulls it off, then we probably won't even see it. So, let's see. Makes a safety save just in case. And...
Oh. Nice.
Okay.
There are multiple ways. Oh my god. I'm sorry to interrupt. Unfortunate that Oshi ended up taking that quick death, because for a moment he was able to save himself by sort of dashing above through the mini boss as well. God, that Misty mini boss takes so much abuse. We just spend like half of our time trying to find faster and faster ways to take him out.
Sully's Misty, especially in the second half, was very clean as well.
Yeah, impressive.
It's and there we have it.
That's it.
Made it through.
A third try by Oshi. That trick is important. See how many attempts it takes. Yes,
and
that's amazing.
Try grenade jump. Yeah.
And I was about to say that's actually